Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Alhamdulillah. So tonight we're going to discuss Surah Ikhlas and clarify the issue that has caused all of this controversy. Bi'idhni Allah Ta'ala Azza wa Jal. Right? So, okay. How many we? Nah, okay. Alright. I'm just gonna discuss this a little bit and then take the time right there and just like type in like 3 9s when everybody in the room. Okay, inshallah. So to show where all the controversy has started and caused all these problems. As for like the ones who kept up with, I had to delete 2 videos, because the comments got just too crazy. And I'm gonna show y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all something that I noticed. When the Muslims, and alhamdulillah, this is a lesson for me. When I post a video and the Muslims be in it fighting with each other, getting very verbally aggressive with each other, every video that I posted and the Muslims do that in the comments, do y'all notice that a kafir comes in and start insulting Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Once they see the way the Muslims is arguing and bickering with each other, they come into the comments and start insulting Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, this is the part that upsets me and make me feel some type of way, because you will have 3, 4, 5, 6 Muslims arguing like crazy, sometimes insulting each other, sometimes calling each other names. Sometimes it may be a respectable back and forth. But every time it happens, a kafir comes in and insults Prophet Muhammad in a major way, and you notice not one Muslim say anything to him, except for me. Because they too fixated on arguing with each other over something that means nothing. And then when they get done arguing, neither one of them resolve the issue. But the whole time, a kafir is right in that comment insulting Islam, insulting Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and nobody says nothing. When that energy is supposed to be for the one that's insulting, sometimes they even say little stuff about Allah, but mainly they always saying something about Prophet Muhammad, little crazy stuff, man. Pee on them. Just crazy stuff. But they don't fear. So my point, but they come in because they see the discombobulation. These dudes arguing and fighting with each other. You know what I'm saying? And then they just step in and start insulting them. So then I have to step in, say something, but I'll leave the comments up for a little bit just to see when somebody gonna start arguing with this kafir. When somebody gonna start debating with them? It never happens. Listen, wallahi, not one time yet have I seen it happen. The Muslims keep fighting each other and let the kafir just sit in the comments and say whatever he want. But then at the same time, I can say perhaps they don't see it because they too focused on fighting with each other, too distracted. And to me, that'd be a test. That'd be from Allah Azza wa Jal, because I'm not going to go too far into too much Quran ayats. But I notice it. I see people make comments around them, under them. So I either had to remove it and then I had to hide the channel from them. But I noticed it. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up having to delete the video because then it carried on to the next video. The second video probably didn't even get 5 views before I had to delete it. Because it was getting worse than in the first one. So, and I mean, like I say, everybody don't go through and look at the comments, you know what I'm saying? But it was crazy. We had the Shiites, Mutazila come out, the Quranists. They might not want to be called Quranists because the way they said it was insulting. The Quranist, and you know, I seen a point where this is one thing that I need for the Ashris to get through their head. Everybody who ascribes to the Minhaj Salafiyah is not the Germantown, Mobile, we the only Salafi, whatever city they're in. Everybody that ascribes to the Minhaj Salafiyah is not like them. So everybody who ascribes to being Salafi doesn't declare everybody that don't agree with them as a deviant. So when they talking to somebody that they feel like is Salafiyah, on the Minhaj Salafiyah, they start saying things like, hold on, don't start declaring me a deviant when the person never called them a deviant. Everybody is not like them. So when y'all come and attack somebody because y'all thinking that we the same as them, y'all making a very grave mistake. Now, due to the frustration, I seen a slight back and forth. But at the same time, I understand the confusion from both sides. But that's why I take my own advice and say, sometimes you have to remain patient with them because some of them really are seeking. But both sides is doing the same thing. They so fed up with the frustrations of attacking each other. As soon as two of them meet, they both feeling attacked. So it turns into a fight as opposed to a conversation, an argument. So, you know, the brother, which like I said, I understand him. The brother's like, man, I'm gone. But like I said, I take my own advice. It ain't that it's my own advice. I'm giving people advice on what I do because I understand for some people, this is what they know is the only Islam they ever been told. And by the way, I mix and mingle and I get along with people for real. And I deal with them. I understand how they understand. So once they start to say certain things, I'm able to say, okay, you got a little bit of knowledge in the subject matter. Or you saying the same thing that everybody else say. You're just repeating what you heard, but you don't really understand it. That's why you're seeking. So sometimes you have to be patient with them. And I remain patient. I only left the video up long enough to have some patience. And by the time we got to the end, some clarity was there to where the brother was able to say, okay, I'm starting to, I see what they did. I see what they did. I understand exactly what they did. And you right, we do need to get the Arabic language because now I can also see the trickery from both sides. So sometimes you have to remain patient with them. And and this is why I might title this video, man, the essence of ignorance. The essence of ignorance. You know what I'm saying? That form of 1 second. Because y'all know how I like to do this. And for the new shahadas, I see it out. So the essence, where it says the intrinsic nature or dispensable quality of something, especially something abstract that determines its character. So This is from the mannerism, the essence of which ignorance is formed. And I'm gonna show y'all 2 Quran ayats that Allah discussed this with us. Up here, for the ones who can't read Arabic, this is Surah Ikhlas, and we're gonna get into what's leading to this confrontation. And I'm not going to refer to the brother as the Quranist, but the brother who jumped in and feel like he has all this dalil, talking about he suggests that we throw away all books of hadiths, all the scholars, everything, and just use the Quran only, talking about when you understand the Arabic and this and that. See, me, when you have more of an understanding, you can understand that a person don't understand, even when they think they do. And I'm not trying to be condescending. I'm not trying to put myself above people. So what I did was, because he making like he understand the Arabic. When I said to him, and I do this intentionally, I asked him, "Are you a Muslim that makes salat?" Because he said he know the Arabic. Now, this is the funny thing to me, and like I say, I know where this comes from. This comes from the essence of it, and it's kind of started with people who don't really understand the Arabic, but think they do. So he want to come in with I established salat, like I ain't making a mistake because I used the word make. Salat is not something that you make. So like sometimes when they a Muslim that prays and they understand Quran and Sunnah and they say that, when I'm talking to them, I will use the word offer salat, because they're not speaking out of arrogance. They're speaking out of a misunderstanding from listening to some people who may have had some arrogance. And I'm not talking about the English version of the word arrogance. And then because everybody in now, so I want to, right up here, I got salat in Arabic up there, and then the word salah in English, because I want to explain something to some people. And I want to give a general understanding, because us Muslims, we need to stop doing that. Because one, it's a little pettiness, and two, it's a little tween of I'm better. If you at a house and there's a barbecue, and you may hear two people, you may hear 2 words, and there's some kids there, and they be like, "Hey, can you fix the kids a plate?" Do that means you fixing them something? Do that means you fixing like you fix something? Or, "Hey, such and such there, will you go in there and make them a plate?" Do that means you're gonna make a plate? No, it means you're gonna go put some food on it. Right? Just like with fix. So you have to understand the term make, and then you have to understand the term salah. So let me get up here and break this down real quick, and then we're gonna get to the nitty gritty. Bi'ithni Allah Ta'ala. And these Quran ayahs that I got in the corner, which shows the essence of ignorance. So right here, right, alhamdulillah, we got the word salah. Because the reason why I said make intentionally to him, because he's speaking about how much Arabic he knows, that he could read the Quran in Arabic and he could understand it. So therefore he doesn't need no hadiths, no scholars, no nothing. For one, just based off that statement, I already know your Arabic is not like that. Because you ain't reading the Quran getting that understanding. And then he's saying he can use the Quran to prove you don't need hadiths. So when he want to say, "I established the salat," in Arabic, salat means make a connection. We translate we translate it to prayer. So technically, it doesn't mean prayer. We translate it to prayer for an English person to understand that technically when you're making salat, you're not praying to Allah, you're worshiping Allah. When you make dua, you're praying. Okay? So when you making salat, you're worshiping Allah because you're trying to connect. You're trying to make a connection with Allah. That's why when you look at the hadiths, it refers to when a person hasn't prayed for a long time and then they start back praying, the angels don't record their prayer because they don't recognize their voice because they're no longer connected. So they have to get into a mode, and I'm paraphrasing the hadith instead of just telling the hadith. I'm telling what you're supposed to get from it. And this is what the hadiths break down, right? Because they not connected, because they stopped praying, their prayer isn't being heard. It's going to take I don't know how to put a time limit on it, but they have to reconnect for the prayers to start getting recorded. So making salat is making a connection. Now, generally, like some people, I'd be like, man, did you offer dua? Because yeah, you offering your dua up to Allah Azza wa Jal to get it accepted. Well, I say, did you make dua? Even when you say that, you make dua. Oh, we don't make dua, we establish it. We offer it. But when it comes to salat basically is referring to making a connection. You know what I'm saying? It's generally connection when you look at it in Arabic. So making salah, did you make salah, is not incorrect. But even at the same time, just using the common sense, you say to somebody, did you make your prayers today? It's just the same. It's just an English word for the same thing as like, did you make the kids the plate? Did you fix the kids a plate? Did you make your bed this morning? When you wake up in the morning, do you make your bed? Do that means everybody know what it means to make your bed? That doesn't mean you actually make some posts, make some bed rails, and then make a mattress. Did you make up your bed? So so that's why I put that in there, to see what his Arabic is really to. And then he feel like because he can possibly read the word sunnah, so they go in and look in and see sunnah of Allah in the same sentence in Arabic, right? And try to say we're not supposed to follow the sunnah of the Prophet, we're supposed to follow the sunnah of Allah. That let me know right there off top, you don't understand what sunnah means. Sunnah is a legal way to do something, or a way to do something. We all have a sunnah. If the way, like let's say you have some people who don't like their food to touch on a plate. So every plate they make, they got this portion right here, this portion right here, and this portion right here, and they make sure none of it touch. That's their sunnah of how to eat. Allah has his sunnah, and that means this is the sunnah of Allah. This is the way that Allah does things. You can't do what Allah does. You can't do what Allah do. So everybody has a sunnah. You have to really understand the Arabic. That's why we follow the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that was given to him by Allah Azza wa Jal. And when you go and start to look in your Quran in the Arabic, because I can tell you could just pick and choose certain words and not really read, like you can recognize certain words and then you giving it your own understanding, because you don't really understand the words that I've seen you refer to. Now, and I'm not saying that in a disrespectful manner, just from what I seen you putting in the comments. But you try to make like other people had the misunderstanding. When you go in there and start to see where it says that the Kitab and the Hikmah was sent down, when you see the ayahs where Allah Azza wa Jal said He sent the Rasul to teach people the book and the Hikmah, what do you think that is? But because you don't read enough Arabic in there, because you just go through and look for words like sunnah, one or two couple of words, and then you want to put a whole entire chapter together because you found one or two words that you know in Arabic. It don't work that way. It don't work that way. What's the hikmah? And then we're gonna discuss, alhamdulillah, I like to kill two birds with one stone. This right here, this is gonna be a class, a Aqidah at Tawheed class, because we're gonna break down Surah Ikhlas Bi'ithni Allah Ta'ala and show the mistakes that is made when it comes to this surah. And then we're going to show the essence of ignorance, and also something that Allah sends down for these people who say all you need to throw away all the scholars, you need to throw away all of the Quran books. So let's say I listen to that logic. I don't need to listen to no scholars what they say about the Quran. Why should I listen to you? Well, why should you be heard? If that's the logic that need to be there, then you don't need to be trying to tell nobody nothing. Let's all just pick our Qurans up and tell each other what we feel like it means to ourselves, like what you're doing. Oh, their understanding of the Quran is this, and this. They read it and come up with their own. You doing the exact same thing. So if we shouldn't listen to them, why should we listen to you? According to your own logic. Quit trying to teach people and tell anybody anything. Just let them pick their Quran up and get their own understanding from it, just like you do. Because if nobody should be listened to, you shouldn't be listened to either. So let's get to so again, salat means connection, making a connection to Allah. And the beauty of that is when you understand that salah is connecting you to Allah, is connecting you to this deen and the believers, because that which separates us from the kuffar and take you and I mean is the salat, is the connection that we have with Allah Azza wa Jal. They don't have that connection. They pray, but they don't make salat. You understand? They pray, but they don't make salat. So they don't have that connection with Allah Azza wa Jal. You understand? So making salat is definitely a valid term when you understand that salat means connection. Did you make your connection to Allah today? And like, oh, I established salat. Let me tell you something even about establish. Have you ever seen a business and they say they established in 1907? When you do you have to establish salat every day? That's just like I establish my house every day. That's why I say when you get your home, you're supposed to establish the salat in your home, referring to making a place in your home where you're going to pray every day. You have to learn to, even if you're going to use English terminology, you have to learn how to think Islamically in the Arabic language when you're using Islamic, even when you're using English terminology. You know, and I'm just going to put it this way. In my opinion, you're making a very grave mistake with what you're doing, because you don't realize you actually rejecting Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because why? That let me know you don't understand what a prophet and a messenger is. Why would a messenger and a prophet be sent to teach people how to live the Quran out if we're not going to take what they taught. All we need is just the book and nothing else. You don't realize you're rejecting Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But you don't realize that. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I know you definitely don't know enough Arabic and reading that Quran in Arabic enough to understand. Because if you understood Fusha Arabic, the Quran makes that very clear. Overly clear. But you don't know that. Why? Because your Arabic ain't like that. You may fool some of them people that don't know no better. Like they say, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you ain't gonna fool all of the people all of the time. Or however that word and go, it make you understand what I just said. So look, let's get into Surah Ikhlas. Now, let's get into Surah Ikhlas. So right here, and because I want to show, this is definitely for the new shahadas. I'm glad the new shahada got to see all that bickering and fighting in the comments. We a mess, ain't we? The Muslim Ummah is a mess. So look at this. Because, let me show y'all this right here. And reason why I wrote it in Arabic. And it's in purple. I know y'all on the big screen so y'all can see these words. Right here in purple, there's these arrows and this right here. And these underlines in Allah. Why do I have arrows right here? So like I said, this is a Aqidah. At Tawheed, we're going to refer to it as a session. If I spelled that right. We're going to refer to this as a session, not a class, right? So look, and this finna break down a lot of the mistakes. One, with Tawheed, it's 3 categories, right? Now, of course, you have a particular group that try to say the Salafis put Tawheed in 3 categories like the Kafirs did with Jesus. Because they don't understand. And even when you look at your Al-Fatiha, when you start off your Al-Fatiha, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Rabbil Alameen. Right? So when you say Alhamdu, all praise is for Rabbil, the Lord of the worlds. What is that? That is Rububiyyah, Allah's lordship. This is the beginning of Al-Fatiha. Rabbil Alameen, right? Or Rahman Nir Rahim. The next ayat, what is that right there? Asima Sifat. Because these is names and attributes. Just like Rabbil Alameen. This is a name and attribute. So you could see the categories, right? Maliki. And in some kirats, you got Maliki and you got Maliki. Maliki, 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 Yom Middin. right? The only owner, or the king, whichever one you want to put it with. Allah is the only one of this day, the only owner. What's that? Uluhiyah. Though that's 1, 2, 3 categories of Tawheed. Okay? So when you understand Uluhiyah, which is the best term to use, you don't see a lot of people use it, is uniqueness. Allah is unique in this because Allah is the only one that's capable of doing this. Allah is the only one to own this thing, right? So if Allah, the only owner of this particular day, do we reject that because we able to own a car? Because we're able to own a house? Because we own dishes? Because we own the food that's in our refrigerator? Because we own our beds, we own our TVs, we own our clothes? Because to them, this had to be rejected, to their logic. This had to be rejected because the creation also owns stuff. But what's the uniqueness? We don't own. We're not the king of this particular day. You understand? Allah Azza is unique in that. There's nothing else equal with Allah Azza when it comes to this. Allah can't be matched when it comes to this. See the flaws in their theory? See the flaws in their theory. So this is the 3 categories of Tawheed. And it's starting right at the beginning of Al-Fatiha. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka. I ain't got to continue. Now, why am I discussing this aspect? Because I need for y'all to understand in order to properly understand this surah, you need to understand Asma wa Sifat, names and attributes. Also, Uluhiyah, the uniqueness. Right? The uniqueness of Allah Azza wa Jal. Why is that? Because all of this is Asima wa Sifat. This right here, Ahad, is the name of Allah Azza wa Jal. Guess what it's pointing at? Allah's uniqueness. Allah is the only one that can do this, or has this, or owns this quality. But because they do so much English, so again, right here, you have Ahad again. So when it starts off, Qul huwa Allahu Ahad. Allah, right? Say, Allah is, when you understand His name and attribute, and you understand that it's Asima wa Sifat, as opposed to just translating it to Allah is one. No, Allah Azza wa Jal is unique. Say, Allah is unique. This is the name and attribute of Allah. Allah is unique. There is nothing like Allah in his uniqueness. Let me show you where they get this twisted. Allahus Samad. Samad is also a name and attribute of Allah. Some people translate it as like what technically Samad is like who we turn to. When you know what I'm saying? Who we turn to. When you're in a certain time of need, Allah Azza wa Jalla is the only one that we can turn to. Everybody is who we turn to. Right? Say Allah is unique. Allah is who everybody turns to. Allah is the only one we can turn to. Right? Lam yulid wa lam yulad. He doesn't have any children and he was not born. He never had any children and he also was never born. This is a refutation to individuals who say Allah has a child or children. Because you have some that say that the angels is the children of Allah. Right? So that's a refutation in there. Right? Walam yakun lahu kufuwan. And this is kufuwan ahad. So we're going to pause for a minute because I want to show, because kufuwan is where they make the mistake. Let me show you. And when you got to keep in mind, this ahad, this is a name and attribute of Allah. They're just looking in the air, the English, because they may use the word one. Matter of fact, let's pull up some. Let's pull it up. Hold up. Before I show y'all the tool that I love for y'all to use, right? Okay. Hold on. So let's read an English translation. Right? Keep in mind, I'm gonna read y'all English translation and then I'm gonna read y'all a word for word translation. So where it says Kul huwallahu ahad. Word for word translation, say he is Allah, the one. Right? Then when they translate it to English, one translation say he is Allah, one and indivisible. Right? Another translation, he is Allah, the one. But it's referring to, when you know Allah's name and uniqueness, his the names and attributes of Allah, it's referring to his uniqueness as in he's the only one that has these attributes. He's the only one that has these qualities. This is important. This is important because I want to show y'all how it's getting twisted. Right? Then Allahu Samad. So the word for word, Allah is the eternal, the absolute. Like the absolute, the main one that you go to when you need something. The only one that when you come to him that can deliver. Like Allah the only one that can answer your du'as. But see, some people don't understand that because they make du'as to people in the grave. Why? Because they reject asima wa sifat on a whole bunch of levels. Some of them read this and don't even understand that uluhiyya and asima wa sifat is in this whole surah. Right? So some people translate this into English, Allah the sustainer, right? Needed by all. They saying that's the term samad, the sustainer, the one that's needed by all. Everybody needs Allah. You see what I'm saying? Allah is the one that we turn to for our needs. Another translation, Allahu Samad. Allah is self-sufficient, the self-sufficient master whom all creatures and creation needs. Alright? So now y'all can understand Samad. Allah is who we turn to. Allah is who we all need. When you understand Samad, you're not going to go to the graves of dead people and make dua to them. But see, they don't understand this. And it's right here in the Quran. In the Arabic and the English makes it fairly clear. Right? Lam yulid wa lam yulad. He begets not, nor is he begotten. Right? English translations. He has never had offsprings, nor was he born. Then another translation, he begets not, nor was he begotten. He don't have children. Nothing comes out of him to create birth. Okay? And neither was he born. Walam yukun lahu kufuwan ahad. Right? And for him, there is no equivalent. So they're translating kufuwan as equivalent. Because some people use the term comparable, they take kufuwan ahad and say, because Allah says he had a face, and you agree, you're wrong, because we have a face. And to say that Allah has a face is comparing him to his creation. But we're going to show the blunder in this. Right? So, he has no equivalent. There's nothing equivalent to Allah in his uniqueness. Ahad. And what Allah can do, there is no equal. Allah can't be matched in creating. Allah can't be matched in sustaining. There's no one equal to Allah when it comes to turning to Allah for your needs. This is what this surah is talking about. So it translated, one English translation says, and there is none comparable to him. Now watch what we're going to do, right? So as mentioned in the introduction, they give a little task here. As mentioned in the introduction, the Quran has three main themes. 1, stories. 2, Muslim teachings. 3, and belief in the unseen. Since Surah 112 covers the third theme, belief in the unseen, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says in a hadith collected by Bukhari and Muslim that reading this surah equals reading 1/3 of the Quran. Okay? Then another English translation, there is none co-equal or comparable. The reason why they put co-equal, because they want you, because that's really closer to the translation, but they know that people put comparable, right? Because they want you to understand what they mean by comparable, right? Let's say, for instance, when we're going to use an athlete, we're going to say Michael Jordan, and then we're going to say Spud Webb, for people who may know who Spud Webb is. When it comes to Michael Jordan and Spud Webb is not comparable to Michael Jordan. They're not equal. Spud Webb can't match Michael Jordan in what he can do. This is what it means by comparable. Not saying because Michael Jordan has a hand, that means Spud Webb can't have a hand. Because they reject Asima Wasifat so much, they don't even know that Ahad is a name, an attribute of Allah. So this is referring to the name and attribute of Allah. You understand? So there's no one that can be compared to Allah in his uniqueness. Even though I don't even like using those English terminologies, but we're going to make this even more clearer. Inshallah, bi'ithni Allah ta'ala. So like for the new shahadas, what I teach y'all to do, all you got to do is this. Go to the dictionary. That's all you got to do. So I already even got it bookmarked. When you go to the dictionary, all you have to do is look up the word kufuwa. Now, like I said, so it gives you a few different formations of how the word could be used. So it's going to give you certain words as opposed to a specific definitions that you could use for translation. Because keep in mind, translation, like for instance, they're translating it to comparable, or salat, they translate it to prayer, but that don't mean they translate it to prayer, but the definition is connection. So let's look at the closest things that you should use to translate it. So look, able. Allah is the only one that's able to do certain. Allah is the only one that's able to create. Capable. Allah is the only one capable of doing what Allah does. That's why even in, I'm saying to the person who feel like he's reading the Quran and seeing Sunnah of Allah and say, I'm following the Sunnah of Allah, you're not capable of doing what Allah does. That's Allah's Sunnah. Allah is ahad in his Sunnah. Right? Qualified. Allah is the only one that's qualified to do what Allah does. So when you understand that, you can see why they use the word comparable. Nothing can be compared to Allah in this regard. You understand? Not meaning Allah says he has a hand. We have to go against that because that's comparing Allah to his creation. See the flaw in this? Because the flaw in them not really knowing how to translate huwa or ahad, and also not understanding Allahu samad fully. Let's go a little bit more. Suitable, adequate, fitted, efficient, competent. And the things that's only applied to Allah, Allah's the only one in these specific areas. These is the words that you can put there for kufuwa. Match. There's no match for Allah in these regards. Equal. There's none equal to Allah in this regard. That's why, like in the word for word, they put equivalent. Nothing equates to Allah in these regards. When you understand more along the lines, nothing is equal to Allah. Nothing is equivalent to Allah. When you understand how to translate it right, you won't be saying things like, oh, Allah said he has a face, but that's a mistake because we have a face. Because it ain't that they miss that is the word comparable. It's what the kiosk that they add to it. Allah said you can't compare anything to him. No, that's not what it said. It don't say Allah said you can't compare anything to him. Although who compares anything to Allah? Just like how they say, just going into their logic. Like even the brother said in the comment, when they want to discuss the word face, he was like, well, if I want to, can't I just find a different word that I want to use so that nobody think that Allah has a human face? To be honest with you, no. When people see the face of Allah, nobody sit down and say, "Oh, that means Allah has a human face," because they want to keep trying to say we keep being anthropomorphic or whatever, basically applying human body parts to Allah. When you could tell them 1,000 times, we are not saying that Allah has a human face, but they can't get that through their head. They can't get it through their head. Why? Because like I said in other videos, because in their head, they can't stop picturing a human face. So they're really debating against what's in their head. When, if they get into the real names and attributes of Allah and quit trying to deny the majority of them, they'll know that Ahad is a name and attribute of Allah, and it doesn't just mean one when it comes to Allah Azza wa Jal. You understand? So then if they really get into just going to your dictionary and look up the word kufuwa, you won't see comparable. But when you understand what it is, you can comprehend why people use the word comparable, because they're using comparable in a different context. They're using comparable with the correct context. Y'all using comparable with an incorrect context, because they have an incorrect understanding of this surah. That's why I be trying to explain to people, when you have an incorrect understanding and you continue to study and go up into different fields and carry that incorrect understanding with you, it's going to play out through all of your studies. And like I say, you ain't got to take my word for it. Go look it up in the dictionary. And when you see these words, and then when you understand that ahad, but see, they don't deal with the 3 categories of Tawheed. They say, well, I'll say a particular group of them say, that's just the Salafis putting Allah in categories like the Christians did Jesus. That's a slander, B. Especially when you can see the 3 categories right at the beginning of Al-Fatiha. When you can see 2 other categories right here. See, they see ahad and it just means one to them. We see ahad and we understand uluhiyah. That's why you have to take the steps, like I said, in tarbiyah. You got to go through preschool to kindergarten to 1st grade to 2nd grade. And that's why I be trying to explain to people. Some people is professionals at saying, testing people with, like I'm saying, the group that they arguing with. What's the 3 categories of Tawheed? If you can't name them, or you don't do this and that. But then when you sit down and say, how do you worship Allah in accordance with it? They don't know, but they know how to, they got the rhetoric. Not all of them, but they so fixated on rhetoric, they don't have intent, they don't have context. They stuck on rhetoric just like the other. They're stuck on so much rhetoric, just like in my comments, they fighting, not even knowing they have the exact same understanding. And I'm going to prove that. But like I say, new shahadas, I'm not trying to refute them. I'm not trying to clean up their thought process. Alhamdulillah, do what y'all want to do. I'm doing this for y'all. This is a conversation for us, and to show you how to navigate your way through it. And get like I say, this is why you got to get your Arabic together. All this arguing, all this debating over a particular word, but nobody has the definition of it from the actual dictionary. They're all giving it their own meaning, just like they doing with face, hands, and this, that, and the third. But they feel like it's permissible. Well, we could just give it our own meaning, just like I said to him, because like with them, cool, alhamdulillah, I understand you want to say that. If you want to give it to your own meaning, show me the meaning that you want to give it in the Arabic dictionary. Let's take a look at the word that you're using to give another meaning for it. So these is all the words that they give you to translate it in English. That's the closest that they can get to an equivalent to kufuwan. So, like I said, I understand why they're using comparable, because people who use comparable with the right context of the ayat, they don't go astray. But people who use comparable with the wrong context and start doing qiyas, then it blow all the way up into all this other stuff that was never said by nobody. They claim to love all this Maliki fiqh. Do anybody? But see, they could play them games. See, everybody want to have this avenue that nobody else is in, which makes me right and you wrong. Salafis. Oh, well, where you get that from? It's from the Salaf or the Minhaj. Just the Minhaj Salafi. And all these missayings and misnomers and all this and that. Oh, well, then how am I catch you? It sounds wrong to me, but I can't prove it. Yeah, because you don't understand Islam like the Salaf. But it might not even have not a single thing to do with the Salaf. It might be something that they made up, their own understanding, and they call it the Minhaj of the Salaf. Then the next group, oh, well, we study the Maliki Madhab. This is Maliki Madhab. Oh, well, how can I catch you being wrong? You can't, because you need the Maliki Madhab. Oh, well, my position is this. Yeah, your position is that because it's not Maliki. But then you go look at the Maliki Madhab and sit down and say, when did Imam Malik start teaching this stuff y'all saying? See, y'all can't throw that fiqh term around to people and think fiqh just mean fiqh of wudu, fiqh of this. If anybody think Imam Malik didn't talk about a belief system, then they're crazy. If anybody think those madhabs don't speak about Aqidah, the belief in this, the belief in that, and things like this, Imam Malik didn't teach that stuff y'all saying. Imam Malik, it's not an Imam Malik madhab that Allah exists without a place. But when it comes to certain thing, they want to throw, we're Malik, hey, we study Imam Malik. Y'all don't understand fuck. You know, they want to get off. You don't understand fuck. You need fuck feeding. Can you show me where that's at in the school of fiqh, please? Well, we want to put certain words in so that it's not misunderstood. Even if I sit up there and be like, let's say you have a pit bull named Pooter, and then somebody say, man, look at that face Pooter made. Who in their mind is going to sit up and think a human face? Not comparing Allah to a dog. Nobody thinks human face when they read face of Allah. Why y'all can't get that? Because y'all up on some distortion, and y'all distorting kufuwa, and y'all don't understand this is a name of Allah Azza wa Jal. Go look it up. Go look it up. Now, let's speak about the essence of ignorance. Quran ayat. I'm going to start with 45, 17, 18. And I'm not going to refer to him as a Quranist, because that could be insulting. But for the brother who be watching these videos, I be seeing them lurking. I also see a couple of Hebrew Israelites lurking, looking for their moment. I'm letting y'all know, because they sitting back watching the Muslims argue and debate in the comments, and then when they go start debating other people, they use these arguments to argue against Muslims. So I'm telling y'all, I see them lurking because this is my channel. Yes, it's the Hebrew Israelites. They in the house, they lurking, Every once in a while, some of them put comments that y'all don't get to see because it automatically go into a box for me to approve it. And when they go into a box for me to approve it, that's my way of knowing they go into different people's videos posting these same comments almost like a spam. So it's going into a folder for me to check it and approve it or not if it's spam. So they be coming with that. But like I said, they pay attention to the comments, and then when they go arguing stuff with other Muslims, they use these arguments with Muslims arguing against each other as arguments against other Muslims. That's why I start deleting videos and different things. See, for the people who use YouTube and use videos for content, controversy sells. My channel not for making money. It's not even set up to make money. Right? I have seen a couple of my videos when I went and watched them, and YouTube had put some ads on them. Then they ended up taking them off. So YouTube might have sold a couple of ads on them, but wallahi, none of that. My page is not monetized or none of that. It ain't even set up to make money. So like that video, it was almost up to like 500 views. I deleted it. I don't make money. When you get views and you get certain things, I deleted it. Controversy, if I wanted to make money, I could be extremely controversial and run comments up into the 2, 3, 4, 5,000s. But I'm not here for that. This isn't content for me. This isn't content for me. So I'm just letting the Muslims know who doing all this argument and doing all this stuff. I'm telling y'all, in every one of my comments, when the arguments break out real bad, the Kafirs come in and start insulting Rasulullah. The Hebrew Israelites, they step in, and then your occasional ashery. Your occasional ashery comes in with all this logic, and then sometimes I pull them to the side. All right, cool. I understand what you said. Can you give me the isnad all the way up to Rasulullah for this 3 paragraphs of words you just put up here? It turned into crickets then. But see, y'all love to use that on everybody else because y'all know it's bull crap. If y'all don't have no isnad, y'all know don't nobody else have one. But y'all know that them individuals don't know the isnad game. But the essence of ignorance. Look at this right here, y'all. Look at this right here. And like I said, the Quran, brother. Look at this Quran ayat, because I got a question for you. But this is the essence of ignorance, man. And when I looked at them comments and all that fighting, and then it carried to the next video, it reminded me of this Quran ayat, man. And of course, who the back and forth, because like I said, man, there's a silent war going on between the Asheris and the Salafis, baby. But it's loud. But the Asheris have this thing of cloaking everybody under the same box. So they lightweight confrontational. But some of them seeking, man, because for real, some of that stuff don't make sense to them, just like Christianity didn't. But look, we're going to go to we're going to Surah 45, ayat number 17. I'm calling this the essence of ignorance. Look what Allah says. We also gave them clear commandments. This one English translation. Hold on, Daki. So check this out. We also gave them clear commandments regarding their faith. But it was not until knowledge came to them that they differed out of mutual envy. Let me pause for a minute. And just let's pull up the word envy, because I want y'all to understand the difference between envy and jealousy and the context in which this used. A feeling of discontent or resentful longing aroused by someone else's possessions, qualities, or luck. They resentful towards each other. they feel some type of way because, now let me tell you, because I'm cool with some of them, B. But I always made that clear. It's some Ashleys that I actually rock with. And I'm going to explain to y'all why. But I was around when they was talking about, when they put a plan together. And this is one thing, I give them props because I see them actually trying to implement their plan. And wallahi, one of their plans was they sat down and they peeped that them brothers from the Salafi side that don't like nobody, they peeped how deficient that they sisters were. So wallahi, what they said was, we're going to start taking they sisters. We're going to adjust our mannerisms and start being nice. We're going to clean up our manners so the people will start coming to us. They, you know what I'm saying? I'm listening to them. Man, them brothers got 100 single sisters at their masjid. All they sisters been abused. They been married 50 times. Been married 50 times in 2 years. They been them dudes be low key dope fiends behind closed doors. They be passing sexually transmitted diseases. They be molesting people, kids and stuff. This is what they was talking about. Because you got to keep in mind, some of them come from that Salafi community. They know the inside secrets. You know what I'm saying? Just like, I'm going to pause for a minute because a lot of y'all don't know about this. And wallahi, this is a true story. Before we get into the surah. At Germantown Masjid, there was a brother who, they married this brother to a niqabi. So they in full niqab, do the little marriage and everything at Germantown Masjid, had the walima and all that. Is real beautiful. So y'all, this is crazy, man. But they always want to talk about somebody else. But see, some of them people who done became Ashri, they know this stuff about them. So they trying to take everything that they have. They want their women. They want their congregation. They want their followers. They want their buildings. They want their areas. Because they feel some resent towards them people. Y'all been attacking us when we was weak, but we strong now. And we done studied y'all and we peep how weak y'all is. We finna put belt on y'all and take everything y'all got going on. Yeah. And then they doing the same thing because they see them. So it's a war going on between them. And I'm privy because I've been watching it for a long time. And I'm going to be cool with who I want to be cool with as long as you cool. Until you decide you don't want to be cool no more, then we won't be cool. It's just a regular day for me. I'm used to me and people, we don't talk for 3 years. We talk every day for a month. Then we don't talk for 3 years again. It's just how the cycle go for me. But for them, it might be like, oh, you know, they might act like it was a breakup or something all of a sudden. This is what it always been. It's just regular stuff. I don't feel no way. I ain't taking nothing personal. But some people do. So, to the story. So, the niqabi is back there with the sisters. And wallahi, another sister is like, they started saying this niqabi hands is too big. And the niqabi won't never take their niqab off. So once they started whispering amongst each other that the niqabi hands is too big, they started looking at the niqabi shoes. So one particular sister, wallahi, is telling me how big the shoes is and all this other stuff. like this gotta be a man. It ain't no way this is a woman. But they wasn't really like super tall. There's no way this is a woman. Their hands too big. And then they won't talk to nobody back there. And they don't take their niqab off. They was like, when we in the sister area, the sisters take all that stuff off. Wallahi, y'all. Why, after a little time passed, one of the sisters got fed up and snatched the niqab off. snatched the niqab off of him. And it was a whole man married to one of the Germantown brothers. Wallahi. You gonna marry this man in Germantown Masjid in a niqab? And then take him to Jumu'ah every Friday and have him sitting on the sister side? But see, y'all don't know about this stuff because they so fixated on trying to tear everybody else down to raise themselves up. So then when this stuff got brought up, oh man, I never knew that was a man. Man, stop lying. You've been married to this cat for about 7-8 months. And like they said, what the sister told me, wallahi, that when they took the niqab off, they didn't have no beard or nothing, but it was obvious that they was a man. It wasn't like you walking around the house looking at them without a niqab and stuff on, like, hey, I wonder if because like I can admit, there is some men that you may get a glance at them and you might not be able to tell that they not a woman. But the sister made it very clear that this was not that. But, so like I say, some of them people know these stories about them. And they want what they got going on. Even to the point where they minions be running up on me thinking they gonna pull me to their side and then use little different tactics and go back and forth. They perfecting their debating skills. Not necessarily with me, not knowing sometimes when they had the debates, I be right there in the room watching. So I seen some of their tactics. Now I'm gonna show you why I am cool with some of them. And then I'm gonna wrap this video up. So this video, right? Allah sent clear commandments regarding Iman. But it was not until knowledge came to them that they differed out of mutual envy. So I give a little tafsir, right? No community split into believers and believers until they received the knowledge given by their prophet. Surely your Lord will judge between them on the day of judgment regarding their differences. Alright? So, another translation. Allah gave them clear proofs in matters by revealing to them the books. Right? And they didn't differ until the knowledge came to them through envy amongst themselves. Verily, Allah will judge between them on the day of resurrections about therein where they used to differ. This is the essence of ignorance. These people didn't start differing and arguing until they started to feel like they had knowledge. Until they felt like the knowledge came. And basically, Surah 3, ayah number 19, basically says this. But hold on, I almost left out ayah number 18. And this for the Quran brother, right? Because he knows Arabic. And then Allah says to the Rasul, now we have set you, O Prophet Rasul Allah, on the clear way of faith. So follow it and do not follow the desires of those who do not know the truth. Another English translations, then we have put you, O Muhammad, on a plain way of our commandment, like the one which we commanded our messengers before you. A legal ways and laws of Islamic monotheism. So follow you that Islamic monotheism and its laws, and follow not the desires of those who know not. Let's go to the Arabic, right? Where it says, and we put them on a Sharia, an ordained way, a Sharia. So for the individuals who feel like you don't need nothing else, the Sharia that the Rasul Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was put on to teach the people, where do you learn it? Where do you learn how to implement it? What Quran ayahs do you use? So even what you saying, you understand this, and you reading all this Quran in Arabic and all this. Where's the Sharia, brother? That Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that was put on, that you rejected. See, we can get the Sharia from the Quran and the Hadiths, including Ijma. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a scholar in Islam, the scholar of Islam. We supposed to reject what he said? Come on, brother. So they done really different until they started to feel like they have knowledge. That's when, look, the knowledge that they felt like they had made them ignorant, mixed in with a little envy and resentfulness, feeling some type of way about each other. It made them act ignorant. That's why I refer to it as the essence of ignorance. And to show how they arguing, look at this. So we're going to use the term face. Allah says he had a face. They say, we agree on waj means face. So we agree on the word waj mean face. Let me show y'all what else did we agree on. And this is why I don't go back and forth and hate them and this and that. Look at this, y'all. Let me show y'all how ridiculous they are. Look, I'm gonna put Ash'ari, then I'm gonna put Salafi. Do Salafis believe that Allah has body parts and a human face? No. Do Ash'aris believe that Allah has body parts and a human face? No. But the funny thing is, they keep arguing with each other, but they agree in this disregard. The problem is, the Ash'aris can't accept that we won't change the word face into something else. So they know it means face, but they change the meaning. We don't change the meaning. But, so I understand this. So are the Ash'aris wrong for believing that Allah doesn't have body parts in the face? No, they don't. So technically that's not an Aqidah issue, because we also don't believe that Allah has a human face and human body parts. But the problem is, in areas when waj means Allah, and see, I'm going to tell y'all the truth. I don't even get the Ash'aris this jewel because they use it to debate. I know from the tafsirs that waj is referring to Allah's self. It's referring to Allah. But Allah, face doesn't mean Allah, but it's referring to Allah himself. They still looking around talking about it means rewards, deeds. They just want to change it to something so people don't picture a human face when they never pictured a human face anyway. So what they don't understand is, when it comes to the actual beliefs and things about Allah, let me show y'all how ignorant they is, y'all. They believe the same thing. They believe the same thing. But the problem is, now this is where the Akida issues come in. So because they mistranslate Kufuwa and they don't understand Ahad and Samad, and these things is names and attributes of Allah, they fall into denial, right? They fall into denial because this don't fit into the form of what they think kufuwa means. They start to deny stuff, but their main arguments is over the things that they agree on. This is the foolishness. Ashri say, let me show y'all this, man. And this is what I say. The different comes in because they think they have knowledge. You say, can Allah hear? The Ashri say, yes. But it's without sound, it's this and that. They got to add all of this stuff because they misunderstand kufuwa. Do the Salafi say Allah can hear? Yes. They never said that means he has human ears. But because they want to argue and be so argumentative because they feel some way about them and all this rhetoric through over the years, they say the Salafis say that Allah can hear, but they're saying he have ears. We're saying that he hear without ears. When did they ever say that Allah had ears? You ask the Ashris, can Allah see? They say yes, but he sees without eyeballs. Salafis, can Allah see? Yes. Oh, well, they say that Allah can see, but they attributing eyeballs to him. They're doing anthropomorphics or anthropomorphics. They're adding human body parts to Allah. They're adding human eyeballs. But when did they ever say that Allah had human eyeballs? See, this is slander. And the reason why they're doing it, because they want to make sure we believe it correctly and y'all don't, when they believe the exact same thing. The essence of ignorance. Yes, yes, some of them, not all of them, because some of them not educated. We're going to go to the educated ones. We believe Allah has yads, which is hands. Do the Salafi believe Allah has yads? Yes. But again, the Salafi believe that Allah has yads, but they putting human hands on Allah. We believe Allah has yads, but to us, we're going to change the meaning to stuff like power. So the real difference is they had the same beliefs, just in some of the things that they believe, they changed the Arabic word into something else. When the Salafis just leave it alone. We're not finna say that the hands mean power. We're not finna say that if it's nothing that the Rasul didn't say. Now, let me show y'all where the dangerous part is coming in. So now they starting to declare people as mushriks. I spelled that wrong. I spelled that like I was spelling English. Okay, so they starting to declare people as mushriks because they saying if you believe that Allah has hands, you're worshiping an idol. You're a mushrik. But the Rasul said Allah had yads. Allah said he has yads. So now the Rasulullah is a mushrik? If you associate Allah and say that Allah is in the place where he created time. See, because time is here, so Allah can't be above the heavens where he say he is, because there's time there. And Allah was here before he created time. Do that mean Allah can't be here after he created time? Where's the isnad to this, like y'all say to everybody else, where's the isnad to this understanding? Because with the understanding that y'all have, y'all calling Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam a mushrik. What's the dalil that the Rasul said that Allah had hands? Because, and I always point this out, Allah says in the Quran that he created Adam with his hands. On the night journey when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam met Adam, he said, "You're the prophet that Allah created with his hands." So now, according to y'all logic and y'all theory, that would make Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I gotta say a stock for the lot because I don't even want to say the words. But according to their logic, they putting people in the category as mushrik. They talking about that shirk. But nobody ever said that there was human body parts. They never heard anybody say Allah has human hands. They never heard anybody say that. They're saying that people saying that. This is slander. And all of this because they done went too far, because they misunderstand Kufuwan Ahad. Now, my sheikh, right? But not only him, but my sheikh, right? He was breaking down, and he told me this years ago. Well, us, because it wasn't like it was just me in the class. It was referring to certain things in hadiths. And I'm talking about, I learned this probably in 2012, 11. He said that, because they was going through the hadiths and the things about the prayer and the different things. What he said was, a lot of these differences came about through mistakes in the language. Because people started gravitating to Medina and Mecca, but they wasn't full-side Arabic speaking people. Like, for instance, a lot of people don't know Imam Bukhari wasn't a full-side Arabic speaking person. He had to learn the Arabic. And to even do Sahih Bukhari and stuff. So certain people who didn't have the language, they made mistakes in them. This is one of the mistakes that was made in this ayat, and it led to all of this qiyas. And like I sit down and say to the new shahadas, where y'all don't make these mistakes, all you have to do is go look it up in the dictionary, baby. Baby Pa. Just go look it up in the dictionary. And then understand one thing. Certain people on this side, regardless of what they accuse other people of doing, they're changing the meanings of the words. And then they saying that these people who never said these things, they're lying on these people. Now, yeah, they've bumped into a few ignorant ones who didn't change the meanings, but at the same time, they couldn't really explain it. But they peeped that. They couldn't really give an isnad for yads. They didn't know how to say Allah said in the Quran that he created Adam with his hands, because their Arabic ain't strong enough to read that in the Quran. And then they don't really read hadiths. So they caught a couple of them who was ignorant and then bumped their heads up against the wall. But all of this is over this right here, man. A misunderstanding of Kufuwan. And then they did what's called qiyas the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? And like the Sheikh told me, man, and just like with this is a mistake on the Salafi side. And I keep trying to tell people, thematic Qurans, B. They tear down the clear Quran because they put face as meaning himself, but that comes from Tafsir Ibn Kathir, Tafsir Asati, and others. But because if they see somebody put himself, they automatically attribute, oh, the Ash'aris must have did this. The Ash'aris don't know that Waj mean himself. They talking about it mean rewards and deeds and lie on Imam Bukhari and everything else. They don't know that. And I don't give it to them because I don't want them to try to use that to go start arguing. So this is a thematic Quran. When you learn about the themes of surahs, then you know the theme of Ikhlas about sincerity, because this is a surah that gives you the description of Allah Azza wa Jal in short. It's not a long surah. All you need is a thematic. You have to study the Quran. A part of studying tafsirs is studying themes, the theme of the Quran. Just like when a person, like a movie may have a theme song. Let's say Power. People watch Power. If you watch Power, at the beginning of Power, there's a song which is a theme song which matched the theme of the show. What they talking about? Money, power, respect, and this and that. I watched Power, I heard it, and I understand themes. Right? The theme, when you understand the theme of this surah and study it through tafsir, you won't get these things misconstrued. Allah Ahad, name and attribute. Allah Samad, name and attribute. Ahad, name and attribute. Ahad, this is at the beginning and it's in the beginning of the surah, at the end of the surah. One is absolutely oneness, his uniqueness, and then it ends with nothing and nobody is equal to Allah in that uniqueness. But they don't know that. And they stuck on arguing when they agree on all this stuff. But they had to tell themselves, these people said something different. They're adding to it. And we're not. No, just because we won't agree to change the meaning with y'all doesn't mean that we think it's human eyeballs or human ears. And even though we keep telling them that. But they don't get it. Why? Because they stuck on fighting, man. They're stuck on fighting. And them stuck on fighting. They stuck on fighting. And then they sit up there and refute each other for a whole month and both of them be wrong. The essence of ignorance, man. A community don't even start to fight and differ and argue until they feel like they got some knowledge. The essence of ignorance. And it comes from the Quran, man. And like I said, I ain't trying to change neither one of them. But like I said, the reason why the Ash'aris that I'm cool with, they not wrong for believing that Allah doesn't have body parts. I don't believe that either. You understand? We agree on a whole lot of stuff. It's just the things that they deny, but I know that they're denying them because they misunderstand Quran. Not because of something that they read. One, because of English that they're reading, mixed in with some people mistranslating Arabic and calling themselves their teachers. They're parroting. Oh, you're doing anthropomorphic, try to use these big, you're tahwil and you don't do tahwil, you tarif, you don't do tarif. first and foremost, let's just pause for a minute. You put our thinking caps on. Let's just slow it down to a minimum. Just like I had to say to the brother in the comment. You keep using this word. At what point did I ever say human face? Just like I said in the video, I understand if somebody say face this wall, that has nothing to do with a face. So I know that face can mean more than this right here. Oh, we want to change the meaning so that nobody ever pictures Allah having a human face. Whoever did that? Even when I'm coming into Islam, when you first come in and take your shahada and you don't know nothing about none of all of these differences in them fight, and you read in the Quran, everything will perish save Allah's face. Ain't nobody set up and said, this is talking about save Allah's human face. Nah, y'all throwing that on people. Y'all throwing that on people. And then when people tell y'all, we don't think Allah has a human face, y'all keep saying, yeah, you do, because we won't change the meaning to reward and all these other stuff like y'all do. And like I say to them, I tell you what, because I come from an Islam point of view. Go to the dictionary and show me where it means what you want me to change the word to. And then we can start from there. Where are we going to go after that? Now we need to go all the way up to a statement from Rasulullah or some people he taught. If we can't take the meaning all the way up that far, that's where the buck stops for me. But I ain't going to hate y'all because we agree on these things. The only difference is we just won't change the meaning. And then with me personally, what kind of separate me from some others is I understand what kufuwan ahad means. Not an English translation. That's what kind of separate me from some of the others. But anyway, man, it's been a minute, man. Go ahead and get ready to get these prayers in, man. I gotta get me some jewels in tonight, man. I'm trying to wrap this joint up, man. You feel me? So y'all brothers, man, we gon' chop, man. And pay attention to what I said, man, and keep in mind, let that dictionary be your best friend, man. Get your aleph bata, and then go in there, and just as long as you could connect them, put them letters together, it'll give you the other words that's suitable to translate. Then look those words up to get the definition. Because it's not going to give you the definition of the word. It's just giving you words that's suitable to translate. And one thing I haven't seen them put comparable. But like I said, I understand why people translate it and use comparable, because in the right context, when you have the correct understanding of this, comparable makes good sense. But when you have the incorrect understanding of this, comparable will make you do qiyas in the wrong way. So anyway, man, assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to keep this video up. So y'all go rewatch it. Get y'all notes down that y'all need, because I already know how it's going to go. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't in it to make no money. I'm catering to y'all right now. And anybody else, it's a few people who reach out to me and they feel like they benefit. So, inshallah, they could benefit. But this is what I'm saying, y'all. There's no need to argue with them, because to be honest with y'all, we really have a lot of the same beliefs. They just don't know it. So because they slang words around the wrong way, we get to arguing with them. We arguing like a mug over the term Allah's face. But we both agree that Allah doesn't have a human face. Just like all of the fighting and bickering is stopping people from, and this is like the point where I'm easing up to these discussions. Some people only know how to fight and argue. They don't know how to solve problems. I thought somebody was shooting them in gunshots, somebody hammering. So, that's crazy, man. It's like 3 a.m. What they working on out there? So anyway, some people only know fighting and arguing. That's why I said in relationships, sometimes you have people who only know how to argue, and then you have some who only know how to solve problems. And when a conflict kicks in, they really can't get the issue resolved, because one is trying to solve the problem and one is trying to argue about it. If you can't get to a point of just solving it, so like I said, the ones that I'm cool with, I understand that we agree on a lot of these same things. And I understand some of this is just a misunderstanding that can be corrected. If it can't be corrected, alhamdulillah, there's no need for us to fight and hate each other. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us don't even know each other personally. Sometimes it's internet. I'm talking about people I know personally. They be good brothers. Some of them be better brothers than people who call themselves on the minhaj. Some of the people they call themselves on the minhaj make me want to be like this. We look at each other and be like, Salam alaikum, wa alaikum salam. Then we do each other like this. Gonna get on away from me. Get on away from me with that goofiness. You know what I'm saying? But then some of them cats, like I said, I ain't gonna lie, man. They be smooth. And I think I got that mentality from growing up in gang culture. 9 times out of 10, when you see me, I was with somebody that was in the opposite gang. Listen to this. Wallahi, it's been people, I was cool with them and they had gang literature. I helped them learn it. While they was trying to memorize it, I would be holding their gang literature. These the opposites of me. But they my guys. So when they would be trying to recite it off like to memorize it, and I'm looking at their gang literature, telling them wait, you messed this word up. I'm walking with them to their gang meetings. Sometimes I'm sitting up in there until the actual gang meeting starts. If they wasn't going to talk about no real business, I sit there through the whole meeting. If they just finna kick it and play some little cards or, let's get together, man, let's put some money together and grab a beer or something. But if they finna talk about some this and that, they'd be like, we finna get on some business, this and that, man, come back in about 30 minutes, you know what I mean? And I'd be like, all right, but I'm opposition. So I know how to get along with the people who I'm supposed to be pitted against. You know what I'm saying? And wallahi, that's a true story, man. A lot of people that's been my guys, they was in the opposite gang of me. And then some of the people who I was in the same gang with, we'll look at each other like this. Get on out of here. Get on away from me. You creep. We ain't got nothing in common but this gang. And I because it's a hadith, man, like how you was or what was to you, you bring that to Islam. And I noticed I had that with me in Islam. So anyway, man, assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.